If I move here, I need to work. I don't speak Japanese. They don't know what is Muslim. They don't even know what is halal. I wanted to make Japan to be halal-friendly country. What is Burmese food? What is Myanmar food? I'm surprised. They love it. They love spicy food. The cuisine is a bridge to let people know our culture.
Welcome to Unpacking Japan. I'm Toby, and today we welcome Stephani. Stephani is from the Kachin state in northern Myanmar, and after moving to Singapore for her studies, she worked there for a long time before finally reconnecting with her family in Tokyo, where they recently opened the 9-5 Burmese restaurant. And today we welcome you on the podcast to talk about your experience moving to Japan, opening a restaurant, and sharing Burmese culture here in Japan. Thank you,
Toby.
Stephani.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Stephani here. I was born in Burma, northern part of Myanmar. And then I grew up there and my university was in Singapore.
So why did you move to Singapore in the first place? What drove you out of Myanmar? Did you want to discover the world? Did you want to kind of explore something?
Yes, that's when I'm a childhood. My parents always talk about go out. I would like you all to go out and take a look what the world looks like.
To kind of discover something new, right?
Yes. Yeah. From there, after high school, I took the TOEFL. Yeah. And
then to Singapore, where you stayed 20 years.
20 years.
So studies turned into work, turned into like making a career there.
Yes. I was graduated in tourism business. And then I worked as a financial advisor for about 16 years.
Wow.
Financial, totally different.
So you studied tourism and you went to financial advising, and now you're running a restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back to where I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So everyone that comes on the podcast, I usually start with this question about what brings you to Japan? And after 20 years in Singapore, why did you decide to leave to come here?
Because, I'm a single mother for about 7 years. Then I thought of all along if after this COVID pandemic, and then I say it's time to be with the family in the same country in case anything happen.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have my daughter. My daughter is like taken care of by my family. And here I am.
So your family was already in Japan at that time?
Yes.
How did they go from Myanmar to Japan?
My sister and my brother, they were studying here.
So you went to Singapore and they went to Japan. Cool.
Yes.
Very internationally spread family.
Yes. And then one of the most important thing is I wanted my daughter to see the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because Singapore is still small and
very small
compared to Japan.
Mm-hmm. And
Japan is very rich in culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So here I am.
So when Japan reopened its borders at the end of COVID, August, right? You decided, okay, now's the time. I'll take my daughter. We're gonna meet my brother and my sister in Japan.
And my mother.
And your mother
Japan.
as well. Wow.
Reunited 2022 August. Then we came here for a visit for about a month. And then we discussed, why not we stay in one country.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't met each other for about 4 years. And then I asked them to join Singapore. And then after we considered pros and cons from Singapore and Japan, we choose Japan.
So what were the pros for Japan? What made the balance tip in the side of Japan?
Okay, firstly, culture. culture very unique and very long history, and people are very loving. And one more thing is we get to learn multi-language because currently we speak English, Burmese, Chinese, so another language that we have to learn. That the environment force us to learn. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, for your daughter especially.
For
right?
my
She will
daughter
grow
as
up
well.
in such a multi-ethnic
Yes.
and linguistic environment.
Yes.
So what was it like then after so many years in Singapore to pack your things and then, okay, I'm going to Japan, and you arrive here, a new country where you didn't speak the language and you had to settle into somewhere new?
Yeah. I first, in August, that was my third time visiting Japan, 2022. And I started loving Japan because I can cycle around, I can cycle, I can use Google Translator to talk to people. So it's not that very difficult.
Okay.
Not that very difficult compared to 10 years ago. Yes.
But what were some of the biggest challenges? Because it wasn't easy, I'm sure.
Yes. Biggest challenge still the language. Still the language, especially when you go to a Japan Post. So just with the little small item that can easily be done with 15 minutes, they took me about 1.5 hours.
Wow.
To get it done for the posting.
So Google Translate is fine for daily things, but when you need to do something a little bit more complex, it has limitations. Yeah. And eventually,
it's more difficult.
You had to find work here, right? But then you decided, I'm not going to just do work, I'm going to do my own work.
Yes, because at first I thought, okay, I wanted to work. If I move here, I need to work. But I don't speak Japanese. So if you find a work here, you need to speak at least a little bit of Japanese. So, and then I thought, why not open a restaurant? When I come here and travel, I didn't see a lot of halal food or even vegan food because me, myself, is a Muslim. So whenever I travel, I have to find halal restaurant. If halal restaurant, I can't find halal restaurant, I can go for vegetarian. But even vegetarian is very difficult to get it. So I got an idea, so why not?
Open your own.
Why not open my own?
So you're from Kachin state in Myanmar, right? So you're a Bande ethnicity, right? So it's like former immigrants from the Yunnan province of China that came to Myanmar and also of Muslim religion, right?
Yes. Bande is a word in Burmese, like called Chinese Muslim.
Okay.
Yes. But a lot of people thought that with the Muslim and Chinese Buddhism get married and converted into Muslim. So they thought that was Bande. Actually, Bande was originally from Yunnan, China. Okay. They have a ethnic called Hui people. They call it Hui people.
So you have this very unique culture, and you decided you want to bring this here to Japan, and because you also had your own challenges in finding halal food, finding vegetarian or vegan food, like I'll do it myself.
Yes. This, although was very difficult, I wanted to make Japan to be halal friendly country like Singapore or Malaysia. Of course, Malaysia is a lot of Muslim people, but even Singapore currently, there's a lot of halal restaurant, even Chinese or even Japanese, Korean restaurant are.
So while we're on the topic of halal, before we go into the opening of the restaurant itself, how is halal understood here in Japan? If you talk to Japanese people and you explain your halal and your diet is halal, do they know what you mean by that?
Yes, in Japan, a lot of Japanese people, like whenever I say halal, they say, huh? What is that? and they don't know what is Muslim. They don't even know what is halal. So I have to say, pork allergy. So because they are very particular about and very strict on the allergy, so I bring it to pork allergy. So it gives them they have to clean their pot. They have to clean everything to make it to make the fish dish for us.
But as far as I know, halal food is not only you don't eat pork, it's also
Yes.
about how the meat and how
Yeah,
everything is
the-
prepared,
yes,
right? It has to be
yes.
prepared by someone who is Muslim. Is that correct?
Muslim, unless in the situation, if we really can't find, we can have vegetarian or fish. But the pot, the oil, everything have to be very clean and very washed very thoroughly. That's why I told them it's like allergy. So they would take care of like very seriously.
Yeah, so it's easier. At least you get the right food, but they still don't understand what
Yes.
this really means, right?
Yes.
Are there halal food producers in Japan, like that really make maybe not necessarily large quantity, but that you can get halal food from this company or from this place and it's produced according to the tradition?
Yes. Before I started running a restaurant, I find, but although it's very difficult to find it, but there are a few, which is just right at the downtown of Tokyo. A few, but it's still very difficult. Sometimes we don't get to, like almost every time you need to order in advance for bulk item. If not, the meat, everything will be out of stock very often.
So it's quite difficult.
Very
right?
difficult.
So how did you then manage to establish your restaurant? How was the process to get it started?
Okay, sometime we just have to say this meat item was sold out. We have no choice. Even sometimes chicken wing, halal chicken wing, is out of stock. But we have no choice. Have to like say no.
Because you don't have a stable supply chain.
Supply chain. That's one of the things that motivate me to bring in more supplier, to connect with those Southeast Asia supplier, to have more halal supplier here. That's one of the motivation.
So it's like a big endeavor, right? You're starting from one restaurant to establish a whole halal food supply chain for Japan.
That's one of my dreams.
So before we go into that big project of yours, I want to go back to the restaurant itself.
Yes, sure.
Opening a restaurant in Japan, you probably need to get some licenses. You need to find a place. And you were saying that you didn't really speak Japanese when you came.
Yes.
How did you manage to establish?
Like I said, my family is here. So my sister was very lucky, and she's very, very good at it, like negotiating and very good at paperwork. So whatever I wanted to deal with, she will prepare for me all the paperwork and necessary things and deal with those government licensing and everything.
So you kind of cooperated with your family here. Did they leave their work to kind of join into the restaurant?
No, my sister
on top of everything?
Yes.
Wow.
My sister still has his own work as usual. So she will prepare all necessary documents for me.
How long did it take from the moment you're like, I'm opening a restaurant to actually opening the restaurant?
Okay. We decided to open a restaurant in early 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Early 23, and then I start finding a place to rent. It was very difficult to find as a foreigner, and a very new company, foreign company. So you can't even get the rental of the shop, everything. So it was very difficult, but luckily we took about 10 months to find a place.
Wow, 10 months to find a place.
Yes.
So people, when you go to them and you see a nice place, like, oh, I could open a restaurant there, they tell you, sorry, you company is too new.
Yes, my company is too new. I don't speak Japanese. The owner doesn't speak Japanese. I don't read Japanese. And I just came here to set up a company. So they say no.
But after 10 months, you find one place that is like,
Yep.
we'll work with you.
Yes.
And after that, how long did it take until the actual opening?
2 months.
Very quick.
Very quick. I'm the one, I'm like, whenever I wanted to do something, I will just like make it quick in action, like very brave. I don't know where this come from, but I believe it is the genes from my parents.
Mm-hmm. Just get it done.
Just get it done. Because in Singapore, as a 15 years of working experience, also make me learn that you can't be procrastinating when you are doing something. You have to just get it done.
Yeah, Singapore has this very kind of forward-thinking,
Yes.
pushy mindset, right?
Mindset,
You gotta do it, otherwise you're left behind.
Yes, and especially I'm in the financial advisor. That means typically marketing and sales. So you have to be quick. You have to done. Is a result-oriented country.
And so you opened 9-5.
Yes.
Is the name of your restaurant.
Yes.
What's the story behind this name?
Okay, we have thought of many names. There comes a time that I inspire from Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
There's a young Taiwanese restaurant owner in New York. They use the telephone code, the Taiwanese telephone code, as their restaurant name. So I thought of using my country phone code, which a lot of Gen Z people will forget it. What is our country phone code?
Because everyone is moving to online chats, where there are no
messengers,
phone numbers.
no phone numbers. Because back then, when I was in Singapore and studying, I have to call to my parents with my country phone code plus 95.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the memory that I bring to my home, my country.
How did you decide on a menu? So you open a Burmese restaurant, but as we were just saying, there's many ethnicities, and you're from the Kaching area.
I'm from the Kachin area. Okay, basically the menu, there's too many delicious food, Burmese food. But back then, a lot of people, how can I say, a lot of people will only know Thai food or pho, Vietnamese food. But what is Burmese food? What is Myanmar food? So I wanted to make it like more international, and more people get to know more about our food. And I'm a proud Burmese, so why not? Let's start from very traditional dishes like lapet tok. Lapet tok is one of the like essential. Every household will have it for their guests or friends to come and visit their home. So
can you describe it? What is it?
This is a fermented tea leaf, and then we use different types of, like at least about 7 to 8 types of nuts to mix it with cabbage, tomato.
So it's
and
like
fish,
a nice salad.
Like a salad, very refreshing.
Sounds very delicious.
Yes, very refreshing, and especially we use organic tea leaf imported from Myanmar. So everybody like love it. When we prepare it, we make it very authentic. We use like fish sauce, but a lot of people I heard, and my friends say, people don't like fish sauce because it's a bit fishy smell, all this. But I thought, like, why I can't use the fish sauce? Because I wanted to bring the very authentic way and share it to other people.
You wanted to bring the recipes as you learned them when you were growing up.
Yes,
right.
In Myanmar, especially street food in Myanmar, how they put their fish paste, fish sauce, all this. So I didn't change on the menu recipes and all this.
This is something that is quite common in Japan. I feel that when you see restaurants from foreign cuisines,
yes,
they tend to adapt the taste and change the recipes to match kind of Japanese flavors. I don't know if we can say it like that. But you went the other way. You were like, no, I'll do my way. I'll do the original recipe.
I would do the original recipe. Like when I try Indian food, for example, some Indian restaurant, they tend to change a little bit to get the local people adapt easily. But for me, I make it the other way. Although it was very challenging, but I love my country. I wanted to bring the very authentic way to show the world, because I believe the cuisine is a bridge to let people know our culture.
So what was the response then? You opened the restaurant, you have your menu with original, authentic Burmese cuisine, and you get your first customers, maybe especially Japanese customers, discovering something they've never had before.
Yeah. They love it. I'm surprised. They love it. They love spicy food, even though they can't take it, but they still...
They sweat and they cry, but they just keep
eating.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like, it was, this is one of, I'm very proud that I can actually bring the authentic food to on the table.
Do you notice there's like a preference for a certain type of Burmese food where you notice a lot of Japanese customers maybe gravitate towards ordering the same dishes more than others?
Yes. The mohinga. Mohinga is in Myanmar, they have it in the morning or supper. So it's a fish soup with the thin rice noodle inside with the crispy nuts.
Kind of like shirataki, the transparent Japanese noodles that are popular in summer.
Kind of like somen.
Like somen, okay.
Somen. So they, like, every table will order this.
Wow.
Every table. And because we use the crispy chickpea nuts, we make at our own place. We did homemade, yeah.
How do you source all the ingredients? Because I can imagine Burmese cuisine, for the little that I've tasted when I had the chance to travel to Myanmar, has a lot of very local ingredients, right? So can you find all of this here in Japan?
No, not at all. Very difficult to find. And even we can find it because the shipping time and the importing time is taking a long time. So we make it from scratch. Yes, unless those kind of fermented tea leaf, we brought it all the way from Myanmar. But like chickpea nuts or fried chickpea, all this we make it from scratch.
A lot of homemade produce.
Yes, a lot of steps to get one dishes to get it done.
Because you need a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of that.
Yes.
But
even
to make all of those three ingredients, you still need many steps behind.
Yes, preparation.
Right? A lot of preparation.
Very very challenging on the supply. Yes.
And we were talking about halal food. So everything in your restaurant is halal.
Yes.
And earlier when I asked you, do Japanese people understand what is halal? The answer was, well, not really. So when you go out and ask for halal food, you say, I'm allergic to pork. But now when customers come to your restaurant where you are offering halal food, are you able to explain a little bit, engage with them? Are they curious? What are their reactions to this?
They actually do not ask about what is halal and what is halal food, but they are curious about why my restaurant to be able to get vegetarian food, because I have plenty of dishes which are vegetarian. So they are more curious on vegetarian, but they are not religious about vegetarian. They are just like wanted to be more healthy way, so they ask for vegetarian food as well.
Interesting. So it's like
Yes.
people going for different dietary options, but for different reasons.
Yes,
right?
for
So
different
some for health reasons, some for religious
religious.
reasons. Do you already have like a few regular customers that keep coming back and that you have some stories to share?
Well, I have a few. I have a few regular customers. Surprisingly, the area, the place that I rented was multinational with people living.
In which area is it?
Abisu.
Okay.
Abisu. So a lot of people able to speak English. Even Japanese people able to speak English also. So I have a few regular customers.
There's a growing community of Burmese
Yes.
people living in Tokyo, and I think I read online there's one specific area which is called, and I wrote it down, Takada no Baba,
Yes,
which is
Takada no
called
Baba.
Little Yangon as a
Yes.
nickname, right? Where a lot of
Little Myanmar.
Little Myanmar, so
Yes.
bigger than Yangon.
Yes.
Okay.
Like the whole they have this, the whole building was selling grocery, Myanmar grocery, everything.
Do you know about the history of this place? How did it come to be that there's this kind of Little Myanmar in the middle of Tokyo?
That Little Myanmar, from what I know from my auntie who was living here for about 35 years. So back then the place was for like gathering, like a lot of Burmese worker, those immigrants come and gather. Slowly the group got bigger and bigger. People open tea shop, open restaurant over there. Yeah.
So one of your goals too, right, with opening the restaurant, you said, was to spread Burmese culture a little
Yes.
bit, share culture through
Yes.
food, because food is the bridge.
Yes.
Right? So after opening and now being part of this community and maybe connecting to Takada no Baba and this kind of little Myanmar area, but a little bit further away in Ebisu, how do you see the community changing? You've been in Japan for 2 years. How is it growing?
Because I'm very young, I mean like a very young restaurant, about 8 months of opening the restaurant, Burmese restaurant in Ebisu, compared to those senior people. So a lot of senior people, like they are very friendly and they are sharing their experience to me as well. So which is very good, and like I got to learn from them as well. The Burmese group is bigger and bigger, especially because of the country situation right now. So a lot of young people come and study here, and then they get a job here. Yeah.
Do you notice any sort of common thread in the experiences of, you mentioned your seniors, that they kind of all went through similar steps and have a similar experience with Japan, or is it very unique to everyone?
I think very unique on their own way. Yes, because people like very unique. Some people have the tea shop, some people have with the karaoke, very, happening places, karaoke. Some people it's just a restaurant. As you know, the Burmese food dishes can be a few hundreds.
A lot, yeah.
A lot, because there's a lot of small ethnic group. So there's plenty of dishes.
But it seems like Burmese people are very business oriented, right? They open a lot of restaurants and shops and karaoke places with bringing their different ethnicities to
Yes.
Japan. Yeah. And you mentioned to me before we started that you're also helping now people kind of
Yes.
settle themselves here, because you have this very recent experience of moving to Japan and the challenges of adapting and so on.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the work you do there?
Yes, I have a team. My whole team is Burmese, but they speak. Some speak better Japanese than me. So, but some just came for a month ago, but I still, without any work experience, I still accept them to be part of my team, because I understand how the languages can be very difficult to get a job in Japan. So even with no experience, I still accept them, and I still give them a script how to communicate with customer. Yeah.
So you kind of give them a starting point for
Yes.
people that just come here.
Yes.
They come find you in Ibisu, they find 9-5, and then they can start from there.
Yes.
What
I have a few.
Is it a lot of young people coming?
Young people.
Yeah. And they all come for, you were saying, studying mostly?
Studying mostly, and then some just a month ago flew in Japan, going to study for language school. They don't speak a word of Japanese. So what we do is we give them training, and we ask our senior staff to give them a script, how to explain our food, how to greet people, how to say thank you, everything.
What are some of the common challenges besides the language for Burmese people moving to Japan?
Maybe the rent, I think.
Finding a place to
Finding
stay.
a place to stay. That's what I heard from my team members. Yes. So some people will get a sharing house.
In Tokyo is very expensive.
Yes.
And you always have you need a guarantor, or you need to have a lot of savings to pay for key money.
Deposit,
and so.
key money. Yes.
What are the goals of these young people coming to Japan beyond studying? Do you notice that they also want to then establish themselves, open their own businesses, or
Yes.
are they looking also like you to explore the world more?
Yes. That's from a few members. What's their dream is they're going to get a degree here. Some people were going to the APU University, applying for the job. Some people will say, okay, I'm not ready for the job. I will just explore more to other country. Maybe this Japan is for getting an extra credit and extra languages to learn more. So different people have different view and different goal.
Yeah. It's just for some it's just a step, and for some it's kind of the end point.
The end point. Yes.
And for you now, you said 8 months ago you opened that restaurant, and it's growing and booming, and you're starting to get more and more customers in. But you said you want to try to establish a whole logistical network to import or develop the supply chain for specifically halal and vegetarian options to Japan.
Because I find it very difficult to get a supply. So I wanted to get more supply to those people who are relocating to Japan, and those come here for study, those Muslim people come here to study, to be able to get halal food easily, halal condiment easily. Even, the soy sauce, they even put the alcohol inside.
The standard soy sauce has a certain level of alcohol. I never checked inside. Actually.
Yes. So we have to be very particular about even the sauce, even the noodles. They have alcohol inside the noodles. Yes.
So you can't just buy anything off the shelf at the supermarket. You actually need to go check the
ingredients, everything. So that's how difficult.
Establishing the supply chain is one thing. Yeah. How is it on the educational side? Do you feel like maybe not only the Burmese community, but other Muslim communities from other countries, and perhaps the Japanese government is making some initiatives to help communicate about halal food and kind of promote more this diversity?
I think so, because last year 2022, I didn't get to find a lot of halal restaurant in Tokyo. But these days, a lot of people open up, and getting a certificate of halal food around Tokyo. So I can easily just find halal restaurant,
So
like
there's
ramen,
an official certificate from the government.
from the third party.
Okay.
Government, not the Japanese government, and third party, like from Malaysia.
So from a Muslim
Community.
community will have a kind of a body that will evaluate whether or
Yes.
not you follow the guidelines.
Yes.
And that's a good resource for everyone who's looking for halal food to know, okay, if
Yes.
this restaurant or this place is certified, then it's official.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, I have a contact with them to apply the halal certificate. Yes.
Was this difficult to get for you?
Not really, because me myself is a Muslim, and then the what can I say? How can I say, like the certificate company, they are able to speak English as well.
Okay. So you were just able to explain and communicate what you're
They are
doing.
from Malaysia, yes, and then they had a Wagyu supply company also. But as my restaurant didn't use the Wagyu beef, so
Are you able to then communicate as well a lot with other Muslim communities that are not Burmese? Do you feel like you're bonding over food and kind of
yes,
clothing?
yes.
The Malaysian community, for example,
I have
Indonesian.
Indonesian, Malaysian, and even I have just get to know Japanese Muslim, Japanese Muslim as well.
There must be
Yes.
not that many, I can imagine.
Not that many, not that many.
How do they usually convert to Islam?
Because one of the person I know was, she married to a Malaysian, so she converted to a Muslim.
I see.
Yeah,
So you're building this kind of network, and
Yes.
later the supply chain, maybe.
maybe
What would be required for this dream to be possible?
it's right now. Currently, it's just a dream,
Far away dream.
far away dream, but a little step that counts.
One of the things you mentioned at the very beginning of our conversation was you came to Japan also to give your daughter a
Yes.
chance to discover a new country,
Yes.
learn a new language, and be close to the rest of her family.
Yeah.
How was the transition for her?
Well, she was very brave, like braver than me. She's very easy to connect and relate to the people around her. Very easy to get a friend. She doesn't have a downtime because of the changes of the environment. She enjoy more here.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So
she
the
say-
experience moving to Japan as a young child and as an
Yes.
adult is very, very different.
Very different. Sometimes she even give me more energy.
Maybe do you feel like children have less this language barrier? You mentioned that it was difficult for you a lot in certain areas because of the language.
Yes.
But for children, usually you communicate
Yes.
without the language, right?
Yes, they can even in the playground they just met, and the Japanese kids doesn't speak English. So but they still playing very well together.
Is she able to practice Burmese as well, or to share her
Yes.
Burmese culture at school? And
She able to speak. She always say, "Mom, I'm very proud that I speak many languages. Now I'm learning Japanese also." Yeah.
it's very nice to have this very international upbringing and kind of be able to share this around.
Sometimes she will say like, in the class, people will say, "Where are you from?" And she will answer like, "Well, do you want to listen?" It's kind of complicated.
It's a long story.
It's a long story.
How much time do you have?
She said, like, I'm a Burmese, was born in Singapore. I speak many languages. Yeah, all this.
When we go around big cities in Japan, occasionally we see cultural events where maybe the city or a local group will organize an event to showcase one culture or different cultures. Are there events to showcase and highlight Burmese culture?
Yes. We had every year 2 times. The one is in April was water festivals, Burmese water festival. That's the biggest Burmese event. They have a dance group, donation group, and lots of Burmese restaurants will come for showcase their foods,
Like kind of street food style? And
Yes. I heard like 10,000 people, Burmese people was joined it last April. But unfortunately, we just opened a few months, so we didn't get to join the group.
So next year you'll be there?
I hope so.
Yeah.
If I have a chance.
What is some of the most popular kind of cultural aspect of Burma that you see Japanese people excited about?
Food? Yes.
It always comes back to food, right?
Food.
Yeah.
Yes. Some Japanese, I'm very surprised, they speak Burmese better than me.
How so?
When they come and to the restaurant and they will order in Burmese way, they say, I'm graduated in Burmese, major in Burmese.
Really?
Language. So, oh wow, that's give me a very give me a shock. Like people learn our language as well, even American. Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Because Burmese is not an easy language.
No.
And you have a very unique writing system as well.
Yes.
And still they study this here in Japan.
Study,
come to your restaurant to order in perfect Burmese.
Yes. Sometimes I even record it. Can I record it and post it on our Instagram and say, why not? Just share it. They're very friendly on like sharing Burmese.
Is it a very active community here in Japan?
Yes. We sometimes I will say like I can't get a mint, Burmese mint, peppermint. And then I post it online. A lot of people will come and say, oh, I grew it at my backyard. I'm selling it this price. Will you buy all this like in just a few minutes?
Wow. You could that's an idea. You could open a Burmese farm here and kind of plant all.
People have it.
People have it already.
Yes, people have it already. Like Roselli, they have a Roselli farm just outside of Tokyo. Yeah.
So if there's one thing you'd like people that are listening to the show to know about Myanmar, what would it be? What would be the message you want to share about Myanmar?
To Japanese people?
To people listening to this. So some Japanese may listen to this, but I'm assuming it's mostly a non-Japanese audience.
Non-Japanese. Okay. Our food is in between pho and Thai. So not so strong, not so mild. Yeah. And the culture is also very unique. Very rich in culture, very polite, very friendly, like Japanese people.
Interesting.
Yes.
You described the food a little bit like the people that make it too, right?
Yep. Because me, myself, I love Southeast Asian food compared to Western food.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to eat a lot of, try to find a lot of Southeast Asian food in Japan.
It's quite a lot, right? Thai and Vietnamese, but not so much Burmese.
No.
Is there any place, a nice Burmese place in Osaka that you'd recommend us to try out?
There's one, but I've never tried before.
So we'll have to try it.
Yes, there's one. Yeah, just opened last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 years in Japan, nearly now. Looking back,
I've been to a lot.
I can imagine.
Yes, I've been to a lot, especially from Singapore. Singapore is a very fast-forward country. Not people's there are like result-oriented, goal-oriented. Everything they just want to have a result, a good result. and not many people appreciate it on culture and history. So, but compared to Japan, Japanese people is more of culture, history, slow, like.
So Singapore, you look ahead and you focus on the next goal, and in
Yes.
Japan, you look behind and you focus on the process to kind of move forward.
Yes, and protect their culture, history. So very, very loving. That's what I see. That's why the restaurant is like, they will say, wow, Burmese food, that's great. Let's give it a try. But if it in Singapore, from what I experienced 15 years in working, let's have a Burmese food. They say, oh, what's that? They will say.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though it's much closer.
Even though much more. So even like very close friends, they only get to eat what I have cooked for them. Yeah, not in the restaurant together.
You described Singapore as very forward-thinking, goal-oriented, and Japan kind of more slower, process-focused. Yes. Where does Burmese culture fit?
For me, I prefer Japan style.
I mean, your culture, Burmese culture, is it which side culture, is it more leaning? More on the traditional, slow, process-focused, or the goal-oriented?
I think Japan much more slower. Yeah, much more slower.
So maybe there's the match. So overall, for you, it was the right decision to kind of leave Singapore behind and try something new here in Japan.
Yes, it's totally different. It's totally different. People close. Sunday they close the restaurant in Japan. Or Tuesday they will choose at least once in a week. But in Singapore, even Chinese New Year, even New Year's, the F&B sector will be still open. Yeah. That's how they run the business. And here, it's a bit.
Do you have any plans for the rest of the year? We are now talking in the middle of July right now as we record this. Do you have any plan for the 1 year anniversary of the restaurant already?
Yes, I have a plan. 1 year, because it's not easy to have those customer support, especially in a place like Ebisu, very unique. And our restaurant is like first Yunnan Burmese restaurant in the whole Japan. And then there's a lot of customers around the world, not even local Japanese. We have from France, US, Pakistan, Indonesia, Malaysia. Lots of customers that are supporting us in the past 7 months. So I have to work very hard and give a better, unique taste to always give them a place that will not be get bored.
Always something new. Make them feel the diversity of Burmese cuisine.
Yes.
Is there one specific dish that everyone should try?
For the Burmese dish, is lepatok. Lepatok, that means a tea leaf salad.
So the tea leaf salad, that's the one thing. It's kind of like, if I may compare, in Thai, there's a papaya salad, which is very popular, right?
Yes.
And you have lepatok, which is this tea leaf salad.
Tea leaf
it's like
salad.
this table.
Yes.
I remember from my time in Myanmar, when I was traveling there, I really liked Shan noodles, very famous for their noodles. Is this something we can find also at your restaurant? Or?
Yes. Our Shan noodle is like very authentic compared to is the real Shan places, the way how they cook. Yeah.
So you don't only take your own local ethnic cuisine, you take from different areas in Myanmar and you give people and your customers a taste of everything. So for everyone interested, 95 in Ebisu is a place to go to try Burmese cuisine in Tokyo. Yes. And maybe soon 95 in Osaka, who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yes.
Stephani, we talked about a lot of things today.
Yeah.
Is there something that you wanted to bring to the podcast, something you wanted people to share with people?
Something I would like to share from my point of view is be brave and do not procrastinate.
Do not procrastinate.
Be brave, just do it, and do not live in other people's thought, like other people's
Do not compare yourself
compare
to
yourself
others.
to others.
Yeah.
Yeah. And always get blessing. Always be blessed on where you are. At where you are.
Be brave. Be grateful.
Be
Don't
blessed.
procrastinate.
Yes.
I think that's a key lesson
Yes.
from today's conversation. You just got to do it. You just got to try, make a decision and go for it.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Stephani.
Thank you so much. Thank
for
you
sharing
for your time.
a little bite of Burmese culture and your story, opening your restaurants, the challenges you went through, and also the growing and booming Burmese community in Tokyo.
Yes.
We'll make sure to share with our community, add some links so people can find the places and can go experience for themselves if they're in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening and watching. This was
Thank you.
Unpacking Japan, and we'll be back again next week.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Are you looking for another podcast episode to listen to next? If you like the one you just listened to, I'm sure you'll also enjoy the one that I've selected and linked in the description down below. Go check it out.